Hey everyone, my name is Wedge. Yeah, I know I'm not dead, it's crazy, right? Anyways, a lot has happened in the last few weeks, and I'm here to catch you up on all of it, starting with the Commander 2015 release just last weekend. In this series of videos, I'm going to go over each deck, what it does, what the alternative commanders can do, where the financial value is, what upgrades can be made, and pretty much everything else you'll want to know about each deck. We'll begin with Call the Spirits. Let's get all the rust off, shall we? Daxos the Returned is the flagship commander of our first deck. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you get an experience counter. Not a counter on Daxos, but a counter on yourself, so when he dies, you keep your counters. That holds true for each experience counter commander, by the way, the more you know. Anyways, Daxos cares a lot about enchantments. Notice he doesn't differentiate between enchantment auras, enchant lands, regular enchantments, none of that. He just wants enchantments. One of the simpler commanders this time around, to be sure. Just casting enchantments isn't that big of a hoop to jump through to make giant tokens. With that in mind, the deck packs in 21 enchantments, covering a lot of bases. Aura of Silence, Phyrexian Arena, Karmic Justice, Banishing Light, the deck has a toolbox full of interesting enchantments. The 21 enchantments in the deck don't even count the 7 enchant creatures packed in either. A total of 28 enchantments means that you're going to get a ton of experience counters. If you don't have Daxos in play, no problem. A lot of the enchantment creatures have the convenience of Constellation. Doomwake Giant, Underworld Coinsmith, Dreadbringer Lampads, all cards we've seen relatively recently thanks to Journey into Nyx. These work double duty, triggering Daxos and triggering themselves or any enchantment entry to the battlefield. Some other interesting additions to help our enchantment theme: Mesa Enchantress for card draw, Fate Unraveler for another enchantment with an annoying upside trigger, Celestial Ancient because we're making our tokens even bigger, and Treasury Thrall thanks to its broken beyond reason recursion effect on every attack. As a matter of fact, there are only a couple creatures that don't directly benefit from us playing enchantments, but we'll get to them later. As for new cards, Daxos' Torment becomes a giant demon when we play our enchantment, so that's an easy synergy. Shielded by Faith gives us a nice way to protect Daxos or any other huge creature we happen to play. It's especially useful after it's already in play, gotta love that instant speed protection. And finally, Grasp of Fate is just a monstrously ridiculous Banishing Light that hits something from everyone. Definitely keeping that in the deck, one of the better new cards for us. If you want to keep Daxos as a commander, there are a ton of upgrades you can make. Flicker Form being one of the most obvious. You get to trigger Constellation over and over again, which is basically the nuts. Same idea applies to Gift of Immortality. You'll also want Tutor effects. Enlightened Tutor, Plea for Guidance, and Idyllic Tutor are all amazing. If you have the Doe, Academy Rector is also particularly great. Removal is a tad light in this deck, so for my taste you'll want to add an Oblivion Ring, Journey to Nowhere, Day of Judgment, and or Wrath of God. Extinguish All Hope is also a cheeky board wipe once you're on the enchantment plan. Of course, that's only if you have room. Remember, it isn't difficult to build around Daxos. Since he only cares about enchantments, you can just build a giant wall to hide behind. You can run a ton of Anthem effects and build a token strategy. Daxos is a flexible commander, much more so than some of the other options we're given in the set. The alternate commander to the deck is Karlov of the Ghost Council. Instead of caring about enchantments, this guy's all about that life gain. While the deck doesn't come with a whole lot of help on that front, Orzhov has always been really good at gaining life at the expense of others. Karlov wants to gain life a lot. It isn't even that you want to gain a lot of life, it's that you want as many triggers of life gain to happen as possible. The more counters he gets, the more creatures go into exile. He's brutal. Here are some super fun cards to get you started. Blind Obedience, Necromancer's Covenant, which is in the main deck by the way. Palace Siege is real good, especially on dragons. Play both councils, Ghost Council of Orzhov and Obsidian Ghost Council. You're looking to gain a ton of life with a bunch of different triggers. You'll also probably want your standard includes like Soul Warden, Deathgreeter, Blood Artist, and Ranger of Eos to grab all your Blood Artist / Warden type creatures. You like your life gain and have a token engine going on? Sunbond and Cradle of Vitality. You can go in so many different directions with a deck like this. Alright, so I totally just opened the door to this becoming a token deck. No problem. A Johnny's Chosen is already in the deck, so that door was wide open before we even started talking about it. Same with Dictate of Heliod, Marshal's Anthem, Daxos himself, you get it. Anyways, whether you're running Daxos or Karlov, a token strategy is probably a good idea. Retreat to Emeria, Heliod, God of the Sun, Endless Ranks of the Dead, and Spirit Bonds are all great. You can go a bit deeper and put in a Bitter Blossom and Luminarch Ascension if you're feeling particularly adventurous / rich. Let's get down to brass tacks. If you're playing Daxos as your commander, my top choices for upgrades are Sphere of Safety, Ghostly Prison, Oblivion Ring, and probably Luminarch Ascension. If you're playing Karlov, you have to go super deep in the life gain / Pillow Fort plan. Blind Obedience, Sarah Ascendant, Well of Lost Dreams, and Archangel of Thune if you can afford her because she's stupid. If not, Felidar Sovereign is hysterical as well. The reprint commander in this deck is Teysa, Envoy of Ghosts. Luckily for us, we actually created a deck with her as the commander a while back. Here's a link. I don't want to spoil all the fun, but we run crazy stuff like Limdal the Necromancer, Ogre Slumlord, Sangromancer, and more. Trust me, it's a great time. Go check it out. Financially speaking, Call the Spirits is actually one of the higher value decks in the set. Karlov of the Ghost Council is fetching around $6 right now. The Phyrexian Arena reprint did help the cost, but you're still looking at another $5 in value there. A gem out of the set is definitely Black Market. Sitting around $12 before this release, the Commander 2015 version can be bought up for a cool $5. Serious value. The deck also comes with Grasp of Fate, Karmic Justice, and Righteous Confluence, all worth more than a few bucks respectively. Overall, Call of the Spirits is an interesting take on the enchantment theme. While the main deck lacks a lot of the prison elements we've come to know and love, it does include some base building blocks to help you get there. The same could be said for a token strategy. Interesting anthem effects, but little support for the engine itself. This leaves room for you to experiment and switch things out as you please. It's one of the reasons I like these products so much. Lots of interchangeable pieces while still being relatively functional as a pre-constructed deck. Also, remember, there are many more cards that can go into these decks. I simply presented a couple places to start. Obviously, I can't cover everything. With that in mind, let me know what you're going to do with Call of the Spirits. Making Daxos or Karlov? What are you putting in there? Let me know in the comments and we'll talk about it. As always, subscribe for the latest and most reliable Magic the Gathering information you could ever need. This is the Manosaurus. I'm Wedge. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.